Welcome to another episode of Leadership is Female with Emily and Paige. And today we've got an interesting topic for you. Making yourself do something you don't want to do because you know you should. You know it's good for you. You have to do it for work, or you just have to do it. We've all encountered these situations, sometimes more frequently than others, where we've got to do stuff that we just plain do not want to do. Am I right?
I have so many scenarios going through my mind right now of all the things I do not want to do currently. So this is very fitting for myself.
I can't wait to hear some of these examples. Okay. So here we'll jump into number one. So identify the goal and be very clear on what you want to achieve. So like, what is the thing that you have to get done? And what does success equal? So why do you want to do it? Why are you sticking with it? You must know why so that you can remind yourself of your why every time you think you want to quit. So this goes for, let's just talk about it for work, right? Okay, doing something that you don't want to do. Maybe there's a really big, enormous project that you have been tasked with handling. And you're like, I don't know if this is my expertise. I don't really know if I want to do this, but I have been tasked to do it. There is nobody else to do it. And it's truly up to me. So defining your why. So why do you want to do it? Well, I don't want to do it. Emily, I do not want to do the task. And it's like, well, do you want to get paid? Yes. Do I want to keep this job? Yes. What would it feel like if I was successful? How would I feel about myself internally that I took on a challenge, one, that I didn't want to do and completed it. Two, that I showed all the people around me like, man, this wasn't my jam, but I freaking nailed it. So what is your why? Like, is your why to impress your boss? Is it to impress your coworkers? Is it to win that bonus? Is it to show other people that this can be done? You know, what is your why? Name your why and let that be your guidepost. Every time you feel like you want to procrastinate a little bit longer, or you're really dying to find somebody else to like hand this off to, think about how you're going to feel when it's done and you have achieved and represented the why that you assigned to the thing that you did not want to do.
I like that. I've never put a why to some of the projects that I've been putting off this quarter. So this is a good reminder for myself. But Emily, have you ever heard of eat the frog principle?
No.
I feel like this is so up your alley. This is kind of surprising to me. Okay, so eat the frog. It requires a simple change that can make a huge difference in your productivity. The only thing that you'll have to do is tackle the task, so the frog, at the beginning of the day. And this would allow you to clear the biggest hurdle in front of you and keep you from procrastinating. So, as I have alluded early on in this episode, I have lots of projects that I have not completed as we're rounding out the year. And for whatever reason, I keep crossing off these like small tasks because it makes myself feel like I'm getting things done. Reality is I'm just pushing off the elephant in the room. So I've been researching different ways to kind of combat that. And this one popped up, and now I'm like, it makes sense. I just need to tackle what I keep putting off first, because I know I'm going to get the other stuff done quickly instead of doing it in the reverse direction to make myself feel like I'm completing something I don't want to do.
Okay, so I've heard of it, just not, it's called eat the frog.
What's the term that you've heard?
No term, just do the thing that you don't want to do first thing. So then it's like, it's done. Yeah, it's done. I think the key to that though, too, is like not letting the distraction creep in. So maybe you're not opening your email until 10 a.m. Because I could easily respond to emails for like an hour and a half and then, we're out of time.
I now have meetings all day. I can't do this deck anymore. Sorry, boss.
100%. I think we can all think of those moments where we have substituted one set of work that's like way less frictionless for the thing that we didn't want to do. So great tip, Paige. Eat the frog and also know your why. Like why? What is my why? Why am I doing this? All right. The second one, get a clear plan and enlist the tools you need to help you complete the goal. Like I talked about last episode, the marathon training. I wouldn't have been able to do it without Runkeeper. It's an app on my phone. Like it was 100% a tool that I needed to get it done. Free planning or teaching tools online. I think Paige has taught herself to do so many things by using the tools online that are going to show her how to do it. Get an accountability partner. Call out like, Paige, I have to rewrite the website and I need to do it within 2 weeks. Like my boss is expecting it and it's going to take so much time and I don't know when I should start. And Paige is going to say, you can do it. I know you can do it. And I'm going to check in with you in a couple days and we're going to see what type of progress you made. And I can help make some suggestions for revisions. Well, guess what? If I have something in my calendar for like 3 days from now that I'm accountable to Paige to show her my progress, I'm more likely to do the work. Also, if you've got something that like a collection of people are working on, try to get a group of you together who are working on the same goal. I think back to Paige, I felt so supported in minor league baseball when women in baseball was like running at full steam. I felt like even though we worked for all these different teams all across the country, we had this group where you could sort of phone a friend when you needed it. And then the last one I had here was celebration or motivation for you at the end of it. Like when you finish that thing that you don't want to do, you've got the plan laid out and then like what's at the finish line. You turn in the project or do the thing successfully. What's the reward for yourself? And name that thing. We've got to celebrate. Otherwise, like, how am I even going to remember that I tackled this super hard project if I didn't create a reward and a marker in my brain to say, check, like you did that. Remember the work you put in. And then that was a pretty sweet celebration.
Yeah. And I think too, like whether or not something that you're avoiding aligns with your yearly goals, like there's always like that dotted line that's going to connect to it, right? And so maybe you're lacking in this one area, professional development. And like for me, I have all these decks that I need to create. We're in the pre-sale, we're trying to finish out our 2023 large partnership rosters. And I know how to make these decks, but I am just actively avoiding it. But I also know if I'm trying to get more into like a strategy and revenue driven position, this is part of the job. That's not going away. So maybe it's good to kind of revisit your goals too and see how, like, if you want to have that dotted line to connect you to help motivate you, that could be a really good tool. But I do love the accountability partner. And I would recommend that this person comes out of your inner work circle and is that like mentor or that really good professional friend, someone maybe you don't see every day, that you have that texting relationship. Because it holds them accountable to hold you accountable. And that's always, it goes both ways, right?
Yeah. Picking the right accountability partner is super important. If you pick the person who in your life, like gives up pretty easily, not a good choice to hold you accountable for what you're trying to accomplish. And you know, when I said that, like everyone thought of this person that they love more than anything, but like would never help them finish something that they didn't want to do.
Even your loved ones sometimes are the worst accountability partners because they're always like, no, like if you're going to work on that, then we can't go to this place for dinner, or like you're not going to watch this TV show with me. So it's okay if it's not your loved ones, because even though they're great in other parts of your life, being your work accountability partner might not be the role for them.
Yeah, a lot of times there's not much in it for them unless you're getting like a big bonus for finishing the project. Okay, so speaking of that plan, takeaway number 3, you have to prepare for what happens when you fall off track. How do you get back on? What is your plan for getting back on track when you fall off? What additional support can you enlist to get you excited about what you are trying to do again? So we all fall off the wagon. Like there's been times when, let's say, like I've been tasked with selling sponsorship basically my entire career. And it's a process that never ends, but it's something that I have to stay on top of, even when more exciting projects come across my desk. And it has happened many times where I had stopped selling, like doing the activities that I needed to do to be successful for like 1 or 2 or even 3 weeks, depending on the time of year and what else was on my plate. And I had to say like, whoa, like I look at my activity report and I'm like, wow, I've really fallen off track. I know I've been working on these other important things, but like driving revenue for the business was number one. Like, how do I get on track? And that's when I would go into my calendar and schedule time the next week. I would cancel some internal meetings. I would write to them and say, hey, I'm really sorry, but I really need to do outbound work for the company. Cancel or reschedule those meetings, or, let the people do it on their own, and then get back on track. So I think for me, like the steps to that, how do I get back on track? One, acknowledging that you've fallen off is like always step one. And step two is doing the activity to get you to do the work again. And a lot of times that it has to do with time, because you don't want to do it. You keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. So making a date on your calendar and sticking to it is crucial.
Right. It's kind of like when we were kids and you couldn't go play with your friends if you didn't do your chores. Like, it's not so much like the extreme self-punishment, but you also have to realize the more that you put things off, you are losing an opportunity to do the things that you do love again. And so it's kind of like all right, if I don't get it done this week, then like maybe I can't do this, or like build something that needs to grow because now I have put myself in this hole. So it's okay to kind of self-govern your punishment, but obviously like don't be too hard, but it is okay to acknowledge that.
Sorry. Okay. And number 4, we talked about this briefly in number 2, like the celebration and the motivation at the end. Focus on the moment you are done. How does it feel? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about yourself if you quit? Focus on your future self and know that the work you are doing today is supporting the you of tomorrow. And this is, for me, I don't know if it's this way for everyone, but this is so freaking motivating. Like, it could be Emily like tonight at bed, or Emily in 3 years. Like, it doesn't have to be something that's like so future focused. I really care about what I'm doing now to support the me of like even later today. And that could be, like you were saying, like eating the frog. Like, damn, it feels good to like take a lunch with a friend, or go out for coffee, or run like after work when you did like the hard thing in the morning. And that like fun thing you get to do later, like doesn't feel good if you know that you just pushed off the thing that you were supposed to do. So really and truly, this is doing it for yourself. Like, do it for your future self. How does it feel if you quit? Like, you feel not that great later when oh, I didn't do the thing I was supposed to do. So think about that feeling, and think about how much better you will feel if you do the thing.
Yes. I love the feeling of almost like, what is like the interception of like when you really do set your future self up and you kind of don't even realize it. Like, there's just so many moments where I have organized myself and I don't realize it in the moment when I'm doing for future Paige. And then when that moment comes, I'm always like, like, damn, old Paige is really good. She really set me up for success. So it is that great feeling of gratitude when you do cross off that thing you've been avoiding, because now you get to enjoy the night out with the friends, or now you get to go back onto that project that you really focus on. So the reward is at the end of the tunnel, and just keep pushing towards it.
Yeah. Do the fun thing. Like, there were so many times at work where I'd be like, oh my gosh, I just have to finish this one thing. And then I know that they were sampling new food for the concession stand. Like, I'm going to go and eat it. And I would like work faster than I've ever worked before, and then go taste like the new like churro with ice cream. And I'd be freaking pumped because I was done. Right.
Yeah. Well, and also like 9 out of 10 times you've built up all this anxiety and this worry about what this thing is, where like, if you really just sat for 5 minutes and got it done, then you could have eliminated that entire loss of productivity during the like buildup of not wanting to do something. So,
So
I mean, there's always those emails that you're like, it's going to take me forever to write. It takes you 10 minutes and then you're done, but you spent 3 hours avoiding it that day.
Isn't it funny how we tend to take up however much time is allotted for it? I think it started when we were kids. Like you'd have a paper due the following Thursday and you would write it the few hours before it was due. And it was something that should have taken you a week, but it took you 2 hours. So it's, I think that same principle applies to us at work today. So really, really be cognizant of that. I found a really amazing quote, and I was looking up quotes for this episode, and I found this one, and it was actually on a print that I could order from Wayfair, and I had to really restrain from hitting buy because it didn't come framed. That was really the kicker. It was just like a piece of paper, and I thought I could probably type it up and print it at home if I really want it, but
now I know my Christmas gift for Emily. Done.
So here is the quote. There are only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. One is called yesterday and the other is called tomorrow. So today is the day to love, believe, do, and mostly live. From the Dalai Lama.
That's why they call today the present.
Oh, exactly. I know. I was about to say the same thing. Like no time like the present. Just freaking do it and get it done. My dad used to always say that. Do it and just do it and get it done.
Eat the frog.
Yeah, eat the frog. Or say it as eloquently as the Dalai Lama. But we've got faith in you guys that you can do the things that you don't want to do. You can do the hard things. And hopefully these tips will help you to finish it quicker so you can get on to doing more of what you love, but getting the necessary done so that you can also grow your career and also grow your brain by doing hard things.
Get it done.
Let's go.